Commander Zwaxthar of the Galactic Agricultural Corps handed each cadet a single seed in a preservation pod. The test was straightforward: take the seed to the barren test planet Eridus III, and demonstrate your species' understanding of ecological restoration. You have 6 standard months, Zwaxthar announced, his scales glinting under the biodome lights. The planet is dead, no water cycle, no soil microbiome, no atmosphere suitable for complex life. Your task is to prove your seed can survive. Failure is expected. Success means establishing one viable plant. The cadets accepted their seeds reverently. Each represented their homeworld's biology, precious genetic material that could theoretically begin terraforming. The Chlorans received a crystalline spore. The Mycelians got a fungal colony seed. The Draxi took a heat-resistant succulent embryo. Liam O'Brien, the human cadet, received a single tomato seed. A tomato? Liam examined it with amusement. Your species listed it as highly adaptable and representative of human agricultural knowledge, Zwaxthar said dismissively. Though I fail to see how a soft fruit plant will survive on Eridus III. Most species will be fortunate to keep their seeds alive in controlled environments. 6 months later, the evaluation shuttles descended on Eridus III. The Chloran had managed to keep their spore alive in a climate-controlled tent, a respectable achievement. The Mycelian's fungus had spread across 3 square meters of treated soil. The Draxi succulent was thriving in a small greenhouse they'd constructed. Then they reached the humans' landing zone. What in the 7 systems? Zwaxthar's jaw dropped. Where there should have been barren red rock, there was green. Not a patch, a forest. Tomato plants stretched across 2 hectares, their vines heavy with red fruit. But that was just the beginning. Liam had constructed a complete water management system. A series of solar stills extracted moisture from the atmosphere. Condensation channels fed into a central reservoir lined with clay. From there, irrigation trenches distributed water to planted terraces that stepped down a hillside. Each terrace was layered with composted material, creating rich soil where before there was only dust. But the forest wasn't just tomatoes anymore. Squash vines sprawled between the tomato plants. Bean stalks climbed the tomato stems. Herbs lined the irrigation channels. And were those potatoes growing in mounds at the edges? O'Brien. Zwaxthar's voice cracked. You were given 1 seed. Liam emerged from a shelter built from dried plant stalks, grinning and covered in dirt. Yes, sir. 1 tomato seed. That's what I started with. Then explain this. Zwaxthar gestured at the thriving ecosystem. Well, sir, tomatoes are amazing plants. They produce fruit, and each fruit contains about 150 seeds. So I planted my 1 seed, babied it for 2 weeks until it fruited, then I had 150 seeds. Planted those, got 22,500 seeds in the next generation. Exponential growth, sir. Basic math. But the other plants? Oh, those. Liam walked them through his terraces. Humans learned 10,000 years ago that plants grow better together. It's called companion planting. Tomatoes, beans, and squash, we call it the 3 sisters method, though technically that's corn instead of tomatoes. The beans fix nitrogen in the soil. The squash leaves shade the ground and retain moisture. The tomatoes provide structure. They help each other. Zwaxthar stared at a potato mound. But you weren't given potato seeds. No, sir, but I had potatoes in my food rations. Did you know if you cut a potato and plant it, it grows more potatoes? Humans figured that out around 8,000 years ago in the Andes. Same with the herbs, I sprouted them from the spice packets in my meal kits. Garlic, basil, oregano. All you need is water and patience. The Mycelian cadet approached timidly. But the water system, the soil creation, this level of terraforming. Permaculture, Liam explained. Humans developed it to restore damaged ecosystems on Earth. You observe natural patterns, work with them instead of against them. The solar stills are based on desert survival techniques. Humans lived in places with no water for thousands of years. We got good at finding it, making it, moving it. He led them to the reservoir. See these rocks arranged in the water? They heat up during the day, release warmth at night, extending the growing season. And this clay lining? I found clay deposits in that valley, processed it like humans did 20,000 years ago. Waterproof, natural, free. SciFi examined a tomato, perfectly ripe and impossibly out of place on this dead world. You turned one seed into a forest. That's what seeds do, sir. They want to multiply. I just gave them the conditions to succeed. Humans have been doing this since we figured out agriculture. We don't just grow plants, we grow ecosystems. A bean plant climbed nearby, its flowers attracting tiny insects that had somehow established themselves in the microhabitat. Are those pollinators? The Draxi Cadet asked in wonder. Springtails and soil mites, actually, Liam said. They came with the compost. Once you establish a plant system, other life follows. That's how ecosystems work. Create the foundation, and complexity emerges. SciFi looked across the transformed landscape. In 6 months, the human had turned sterile rock into living soil, established a water cycle, created biodiversity, and proven that terraforming wasn't about technology, it was about understanding life itself. O'Brien, he said quietly, your species was cultivating gardens while most of us were still hunter-gatherers. Well, sir, we were hunter-gatherers too. Then we figured out we could carry the garden with us. Turns out, you can grow food anywhere if you understand what plants need. Sunlight, water, nutrients, and time. Give them that, and they'll do the rest. SciFi updated his evaluation report. Human Cadet exceeded all parameters. Demonstrated advanced ecological engineering, resource optimization, and systems thinking. Recommendation: immediately deploy human agricultural specialists to all terraforming projects. Note: do not underestimate what humans can do with one seed. Current assessment protocols, catastrophically inadequate. As the evaluation team departed, Liam was already planning next season's rotation. The tomatoes were great, but he was thinking about apples. Each apple had seeds, and he'd saved a few from his rations. Give a human one seed, and they'll return with a forest. Give them time, and they'll return with a world.